Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into um, the very fabric of everyday conversation. We're pulling from this really fascinating exchange between two friends, just, recounting their day. But we're not just listening in, we're actually going to peel back the layers, look at how their word choices make these simple updates feel so vivid and relatable.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here is seeing how these seemingly simple daily anecdotes, they become just packed with linguistic insights. We'll be looking, beyond just the surface of what's being said. We want to analyze how specific words, specific phrases aren't just passing along information. They're actively shaping how we perceive these stories. They bring them to life, adding all this emotional and sensory detail.
Exactly. And to kind of kick us off, think about this. Have you ever found yourself in some surprisingly funny or weirdly adventurous situation just going about your day, like totally unplanned? Maybe
Yeah.
trying to impress everyone, picking the absolute biggest watermelon at the store, and then you almost, whoops, topple over,
Yeah.
gives everyone a good laugh.
Right, right. Been there. Maybe not with a watermelon, but yeah.
Or maybe you took a shortcut through a park and suddenly you're running half a mile in a marathon you didn't even know was happening.
Okay, that's specific.
Yeah.
But I get the idea, those unexpected moments.
Just little daily twists. And they're often captured best not just by what happened, but, like we said, how we choose to talk about them. So these friends in our source material, they share some pretty memorable updates from their day. One of them is dealing with a pretty significant work announcement.
Mhm.
Her boss, she says, finally spilled the beans about some huge marketing campaign.
Okay, spilled the beans. Interesting choice there already.
Right. And this project, it isn't just big, she calls it daunting.
Yeah.
So much so that it's going to require her to burn the midnight oil, which basically leads to her just desperately wanting to hit the sack tonight.
Okay, let's pause on daunting for a second.
Mm-hmm.
When she uses that word, it's doing more than just saying it's difficult.
Yeah.
That word daunting, it immediately brings up this feeling of intimidation, maybe being overwhelmed by the sheer scale of it. It's a linguistic choice,
Right.
right? It doesn't just state a fact, it conveys a really profound emotional state. It kind of pulls us into her personal experience of that challenge.
That makes sense. You feel the weight of it.
Exactly. And then saying she needs to burn the midnight oil, that's not just working late. It conjures this image of, sustained, intense effort. It hints at the personal cost, the dedication involved.
Totally. And then, of course, we switch gears to the beloved, sometimes chaotic pets.
Ah, yes, the pets. Always a good source of stories.
We hear about their dog, Max, who apparently chewed up some favorite shoes,
Oh, no.
which leads to this playful accusation of pampering him a bit too much.
That happens to the best of us.
And then in what sounds like a genuine close call, one friend's cat almost ended up in the washing machine.
Whoa, okay, that's more than a little chaotic. That's stressful.
Seriously. But it's those kinds of moments, isn't it, where pets or work or whatever just throw this curveball into your, perfectly planned day.
Absolutely.
These aren't just little stories. They're like tiny narratives, just packed with personality. And it's the language, the words they pick that really gives them their spark.
Indeed. And that leads us right to a key question. How do the precise words we pick manage to capture these moments so vividly? It's really not just about what happened. It's about the subtle power of individual words to shape the meaning and evoke emotion. So let's maybe dig into some of the key vocabulary from this chat.
Okay, yeah. Let's start with daunting. We touched on it, but what's the real punch there? What makes it more than just difficult?
Well, daunting is fascinating because it's not just about the objective difficulty of a task, right? It carries this really strong connotation of psychological impact.
Yeah.
It's just a task that intimidates you, makes you feel overwhelmed almost before you even start. It implies a formidable challenge, something that can really sap your morale. So it's a powerful word choice to convey the speaker's internal state.
Got it. Yeah, it immediately makes you feel a little bit of that burden with them. Okay, then we heard uneventful. On the surface, that sounds, well, kind of boring maybe. A bit of dismissal.
It can seem that way. Uneventful literally means nothing interesting or exciting happened. Routine. But pragmatically, how we use it, it often comes with this implied sigh of relief or maybe mild disappointment. Think about it. An uneventful flight, that's usually a good thing, right? Means safety, calm.
True, true. Definitely want those.
An uneventful meeting might be boring, sure. But it also could mean, hey, no major fights, no bad news. So the word, by highlighting the absence of events, it actually signals a specific emotional undercurrent relief, routine, maybe even a touch of boredom, depending on context.
Right. Sometimes an uneventful day is exactly what you need, isn't it?
Absolutely. A bit of quiet.
Okay. And then there's pamper. We
Mm.
use it for pets, for
Mm.
ourselves,
Yeah.
spa days. But what does that word really suggest about the care involved? Is it just care?
Good question. Pamper is interesting because it definitely goes beyond just caring for someone or something. It implies a level of maybe lavish or even excessive care,
Yeah.
often to the point of spoiling or indulging.
Okay, so like extra.
Yeah, extra. When someone says they pamper their dog, like in the story, it might be said with affection, sure, but it also carries this kind of knowing wink,
Right.
about potentially over-the-top indulgence. It reveals something specific about the dynamic in that relationship. Comfort and pleasure are prioritized, sometimes maybe even humorously so.
It definitely adds that layer of affection, maybe with a touch of playful guilt, like you said. Okay, lastly, mix-up. That often implies a bit of chaos, right? But maybe sometimes with a happy ending.
Precisely. A mix-up is basically a mistake, usually because things got confused or mismanaged somehow. What's interesting about using mix-up, I think, is that it often carries this connotation of being unintentional, maybe even a touch of humor or irony sometimes. It feels different from saying a stark error or mistake.
Yeah, less formal, maybe.
Less formal, maybe less blame involved sometimes, like a mix-up with a hotel reservation. It's annoying, sure, but it suggests this sort of chaotic, perhaps even slightly amusing tangle of events rather than, deliberate fault. And like you said, with our friend's coffee shop mix-up, sometimes confusion can lead to something unexpectedly pleasant, like a free upgrade. Happy accident.
Can't complain about those. Okay, so this is where, for me, it gets really interesting. Beyond just single words, we have these phrases, these idioms. They make our language sound so much more natural, more expressive. They create these really vivid shorthand pictures in our minds. Let's dig into spill the beans.
Ah, spill the beans. It's a fantastic example, isn't it? It means basically to reveal a secret or tell something that was supposed to be confidential. But notice the feel of it. It's informal, almost conspiratorial sometimes.
Yeah, like you weren't supposed to say it.
Exactly. It doesn't suggest some formal disclosure.
Yeah.
Often it implies it was maybe accidental, a slip of the tongue, or even playful gossip or mischief. So when the boss spilled the beans, it makes the situation sound more casual, or perhaps like it was an anticipated moment of sharing, not some rigid formal announcement.
Right, less corporate speak. Okay, and then hit the sack. We hear that all the time when someone's tired. It feels like more than just going to bed, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Hit the sack is very casual, very evocative. It's a way of saying you're going to sleep. But it conveys this real sense of exhaustion, this deep desire for immediate rest, almost like you're physically collapsing into bed.
Yeah, you can almost feel it.
It's far more visceral, I think. It conveys a deeper level of weariness than just saying, I'm going to bed.
Mhm.
It suggests the speaker is truly, utterly done with the day.
Totally. Okay, we also heard burn the midnight oil. That's such a classic image. It implies a very specific kind of dedication, doesn't it?
It really does. What's so powerful about Burn the Midnight Oil is its historical imagery, right? It literally references working late into the night, often by the light of an oil lamp, before electricity was common.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
So the phrase just perfectly captures that feeling of sustained late-night effort. It implies a significant personal investment, maybe a sacrifice to get something done, to achieve a goal. It immediately makes us picture defocus, perseverance, maybe hunched over a desk.
Definitely paints a picture. And finally, a really vivid one, soaked to the bone. You can almost feel the chill just hearing that phrase.
Oh, absolutely. That's the power of hyperbole exaggeration in everyday language. Soaked to the bone means technically to be extremely wet, right? As if water has gotten through every layer of clothing. But by exaggerating it, saying it reached the bone, it creates this visceral sensory experience for the listener.
It's way more intense than just wet.
Way more intense. It's not just damp, it's drenched, chilled, maybe miserable. This kind of rhetorical device, it really pulls you into the speaker's discomfort, makes the anecdote far more impactful than if they just said, wow, I got really wet.
So, okay, we've gone through words, phrases. What does all of this really mean for us? We've dug into these everyday chats and seen just how packed they are with rich language, with these really relatable human experiences. It's kind of a testament, isn't it, to how even the most ordinary, mundane events get shaped by the words we choose to describe them.
Indeed, it really shows us that even the most quote-unquote uneventful days can yield fascinating linguistic insights if we just pay attention to how we talk about them. And you see the common threads of human experience, the stress, The humor, the exhaustion, the affection, often expressed through these specific, nuanced language choices. And that connects us all.
Yeah, it really does. And speaking of daily life and maybe companionship, our source material apparently ended with that timeless, perhaps unanswerable debate.
Oh, which one of that?
You know the one. Are you a dog person? Are you drawn to their loyalty, their playfulness, that constant affection, the companionship they offer, the exercise they kind of force you into?
Ah, okay. The classic dog versus cat.
Right. Or do you lean more towards team cat? Do you appreciate their independence, how they're kind of low maintenance, their unique little personalities, and how they offer affection, but maybe, on their own terms, plus keeping the house pest-free, providing entertainment without needing constant attention?
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because even the language we use there, dog person, cat person, it does more than just state a preference.
How so?
Well, it often encapsulates a whole sort of philosophy of life, doesn't it? A preferred rhythm, maybe even a part of someone's self-identity. It signals something about the kind of interaction and energy you value.
That's a great point. So as you, the listener, reflect on your own day and maybe the kind of companionship that best suits it, what language stands out to you? What words do you find yourself instinctively using to describe your experiences, your preferences, your outlook? And what might that reveal about the kind of deep dive you naturally take into the world around you? Something to think about.